Good morning. Welcome back to CMY Will and Trust Station. It has been a while that I did not continue to have more episodes to share on the will and trust, simply because of the Chinese New Year. And since Chinese New Year is over, let's get started again. Today, I want to share more about the word called will, as we have went through several episodes, and you know that it's very important to have a will, because without a will, it can give a lot of complication and a problem to your family member. Basically, what is a will? And we need to write a will. How should we write a will? So before you decide to write a will, you have to understand what is the essential clause in a will. You cannot simply just take a piece of paper and say down that I want to give my house to my loved one, and that's it. That is my will. That is not a will. That is I term it as a death note, Okay, what are the essential clause in the will? Basically, these are the most important essential clause in the will. But before that, let me just introduce a new term called testator. Testator is the person who write a will. Okay, so the testator is a person that engaged Rockwill to draft a will for him. So in a will, to be valid, you must have opening clauses. What do I mean by opening clauses? Opening clauses will have the detail of the person that is writing this will, of the testator. For example, his name, his IC number, passport number, his resident address, and date if possible. So any single will must have an opening clause, okay? And that opening clause will mention the detail of the testator. The second important clauses in the will is called Revocation Clause. Under the Probate Administration Act, it states that the last will prevail, meaning to say that you must write in the will and say that I revoke all earlier will, and so that to make this is the latest will. So we will go in more detail on revocation clauses. So revocation clauses is the second essential clause in the will. The third essential clause in the will is the appointment of the executor. We have mentioned several things, quite a number, a bit on the executor. And so you need to appoint an executor. Otherwise, nobody can act. So you have to appoint an executor in the will. And if you have minor beneficiary, then you also need to appoint trustee in the will. And followed by, if you have guardian appointment for minor children when they are below 21. So all these appointments are very important, because if you do not appoint anybody to act, then nobody can act. And this will end up, we call it partial intestacy, or will annex. Then you need to apply executor for the will. This will cost money and time. And the other paragraph that normally people will look at is the distribution of asset. If you have specifically mentioned some specific asset, for example, my money in the bank, give it to my wife, okay, you need to have another clause called the residue clause to cover whatever that is not mentioned under your name, because this will cover whatever under your name from head to toe. So if you have specifically mentioned a gift and you do not have a residue clause, meaning to say this will is partial intestacy, it's not 100% cover all your asset. We will go into detail on this residue estate and the distribution of gift in the next or the coming episode. And finally, the most important paragraph in the will, essential paragraph in the will, is the attestation. Attestation means signing the will in front of two witnesses. So it must be very stated clearly that this person, the testator, signed the will in front of two witnesses as far as Malaysian Will Act is concerned. Okay, so the attestation clause must be there. If the will is not attested or signed, this is not a valid will. Okay, so from here you can see that to write a will, they have quite a number of essential clauses that you must put in the will. Without any one of them, you will create some issue when you apply grant of probate at the High Court. and your grant appropriate might not be able to be extracted from the High Court. We will continue to share more on this essential clause in a will in the next episode. Thank you for sharing and have a good day.